Hey guys, so I had something really cool. I had a cool experiment, not experiment, but a cool little class put together for you guys. And then what happened was we have a kind of like an AP meeting that came up, and like it's during our club meeting. Basically, there's no way around it. But and I hate when this happens, and especially when it happens 2 weeks in a row. But we have obligations, and maybe next week I think we might go ahead and set up a couple optional sessions on Friday of next week so that you guys can work. So the first announcement is next Friday. I think I'm going to set up some little work sessions, and I'll try to set up like 3 hours worth. So that way, no matter who you are, no matter what you're doing, what stage you're in with your little robotics science fair project, you can jump in and talk to me about it. So here's where I'm at. I have got about 28 proposals for robotics, which is awesome because that's allowed me to be able to put together the budget proposals that I need in order to order this stuff for you guys. So that's great. So thank you so much to everyone who sent me your proposal. If you have not sent me your ideas, please get that into me ASAP. Okay, so that is your number one priority right now, is getting me that sorry, I lost my train of thought. I need more coffee this morning. But getting me that proposal for robotics. What is your idea? What's the question? And I'm going to look at a couple of those things with you today. So like I said, I'm not just going to send you a video or a cancellation. We're going to actually do something together, and I'm going to show you what I would want you to look at. I'm also going to send you some resources so you have everything that you're going to need, everything that you would be doing in class with me today in the meeting. The only difference is you just won't have me. So this is what I was going to show you today. This is what I want you to look at. So the first thing is this website, sciencebuddies.org. Now, you might, some people make fun of me with this, but when it comes to the science fair, like I said, I'll be a judge. I was a judge last year, and I coordinate the high school science fair. And so what I give to all my science fair students, what I give to all of them is younger student elementary school science stuff to start with. And it sounds funny, but it's a really cool way to kind of put these science projects into perspective. They're not that complicated. And when we make them a little bit more complicated, when we start to overthink them, then that's whenever they get difficult. So let's look at the first part really quick. This is where we were a couple weeks ago. We were right here asking a question. What was the question that we wanted to answer? Okay, and in a science experiment, this is something, but in a robotic science experiment, we have to think of this question as something that we can answer using robotics. Okay, so what was that question? And my question was, how does vibration motion change when it's on different surfaces? So like wood, concrete, carpet. That was my question. I wanted to know how these different surfaces affect vibrating motion in robotics. And that's the thing, is like, this is a pretty important question. Now, there's a lot of experiments and research out there that have been done to prove, which surfaces are better and that kind of thing. But I want to see what I can do with my robotics or my robot brain, and see if I can, make the robot change and things based on surfaces and stuff. So that's what I'm going to be working on. But that was my question. So a clear question is something you should already have. So this is the stage that most of you who've sent me your proposals, you're right here. You're doing the background research. What research has already been done in this question? What are the things about this question that you really want to answer, and then what are the things that you may need to answer? Maybe there are people who need answers to these. This is what I want you to work on before our next meeting, which is next Friday at 5 o'clock, is constructing a real hypothesis. Now, this is good because you could do all these. In theory, you could do all these within a week. I just realized this looks like a smiley face that's squinting with his eyes open or his mouth open. But you could do all these within a week. Okay. So the good news is you still have time to get me that proposal, because I'm sending in the budget proposal on Yes, Monday after our next meeting. So that's 1 week. 1 week from today is our next meeting, and then the next Monday, I am sending out the budget proposal for the parts, which means that it's not going to be impossible to get a robot or to get parts for the robot, but it will make it much more complicated to get you the parts. So I need your proposals by next Friday so I can get that written up and get your proposals in. Again, thank you for everyone who sent me yours already. Most of you have come in under budget. That's great. You're being really generous to me this year with the budgets. Last year we had some pretty high ones that some people wanted, but this year it's good. So hopefully we're going to get all those approved. If you've already purchased your stuff, make sure you put that in your proposal as well. That way I know that we don't have to put you on the list, because that way we can we'll have enough to cover everybody. So what I want you to look at doing this week, though, if you already have your proposal out there, is constructing a real hypothesis. A real hypothesis, all right, looks like this right here. If I do this, then this will happen. You need a clear, stated hypothesis, okay? And it needs to be stated in this exact way. All right, and it needs to revolve around the experiment and the robot that you'll be using. Okay, so for example, I'm just going to throw out one. One of our students is making a robot that is a catapult. It's building a catapult. Simple, easy, a lot of cool experiments you can do with a catapult. So he may say, if I hook up, objects of different masses or different weights to this catapult, then the distance they travel will change. That is a hypothesis, okay? And then he can test that hypothesis using the catapult, and then he can see what his results are. So you need to make a prediction, a guess. What do you think is going to happen when you do your experiment? For example, mine, I think when I put my robot, my vibrating robot, on carpet, that it will move much slower. I don't know. Maybe that's true, but that's what I'm going to put down for my hypothesis, okay? All right, so another thing that you'll do this week is I want you to start one of these, and this is just the start of your documentation. So you know that you're going to need some documentation for your science experiment. You're going to need to present something to the judges, and I'm telling you, as a judge, I can't be one this year probably, but again, the more that I see written, the data, I love that stuff, and judges love it too. So it really does affect our decisions. So start documenting your stuff with a little document. Now, I like pulling these like ones from elementary school because they're easy, right? What's my equipment? What's my method? What are my results? That's simple. If you need a little bit more than that, you need a little more structure, that's fine. I got one for you too, and I'm going to transfer both of these to you guys. Here's another one, investigation writing frames. So this is like a little bit more detailed, but it's pretty much the same thing, okay? I'm going to put both of these in the OHS, and they're both attached to this email that I sent out to you with this video. So you've got plenty of stuff to work on until next week. And one thing we're going to do, like I said, next week we're going to set up some work sessions as well. And you're going to start having a little bit more open office robotics time. So I'll leave my office open for a certain, I don't know what times and days yet. But and another thing you're going to get is you're going to start getting invites to my Raise Your Grade sessions. So my Raise Your Grade sessions are sessions where my kids can come in for my students and actually get questions and answers and stuff. You're going to get an invite to those as well at 12:30 every day. So if you have questions about your experiments, you can just come in there, pop in, say, hey, just had a quick question, and then you can pop out. So it's not formal. There's no lesson. It's just I'm there providing help. So you're going to get a lot more help from me coming up as you guys start to develop these experiments. But like I said, there's 28 experiments out there that I've gotten proposals for. All of them are good. Like I have not seen one yet where I had to send back an email that was like, wow, that's terrible. If you haven't got an email back from me with 2 thumbs up, just know that I have not seen a proposal yet that I did not like. So I might have just missed your name. But anyway, so that's what we're working on before next week. Define a good hypothesis. And I want everyone to have them when we do our meeting next week. Have this sentence right here, because we're going to take these sentences. I'm going to take a couple of your examples, and we're going to talk about developing an experiment that will actually measure that question. It will actually test that question. So we're going to talk about how you go about making that procedure. Some of you are way ahead of this. Some of you are a little behind. That's cool. We're going to get together. We're all going to be at this stage right here. I'm going to bring up my snippet tool, and I'm going to give it some more circles, because next Friday we're all going to be right here, right? So there's no worries. We're all going to be in the same spot by next Friday. I hope. All right. So get those done. Let's work on those things. If you have any questions for me today, send them out to my email. Remember, you guys, like I said, robotics is just as much a priority to me as some of my classes. If you need any help, if you want to get together about some stuff, send me an email. I'd love to get a one-on-one session, even if you need that, if you need help. And look in, last thing, I have notes here. I'm making sure I hit all of them. Keep a lookout in your OHS for a new class. All of you will be added to a new class very soon. that is called the high school science fair. So you'll be added to the high school science fair class, and there's some resources in there. There'll be some live sessions and stuff like that that'll start popping up. So you'll want to make sure that you pay attention to that OHS course as well. There's nothing required in it, but it's just another shell that you can look for resources and cool stuff like that. All right. So be on the lookout for all these big changes coming up. I'm really excited about this. I'm glad that so many of you are excited. The possibility of having 30 somewhat experiments is just blowing my mind, and it would be the coolest thing to happen in a long time at GCA. So really excited. I'm glad you guys are a part of this. Reach out to me if you need help, and as always, I'm looking forward to seeing you again next Friday at 3 o'clock.